Last time we saw that your highest calling in life is to be a curator or steward of your heart. Guard your heart above all else, for it will determine the course of your life. Proverbs 4:23. We also saw that our loves are trained loves, and that something will capture our heart, something will capture your heart, but we get to decide what it is. You get to decide what it is. And so it is imperative that we learn to love well. I remember the first time I went out for a coffee a long time ago, and I think the caffeine kept me awake for half the night because my body wasn't used to it. But after a period of time, enjoying coffee out started leading to having coffees at home. And then that led to having a coffee every morning. And then it led to the point where I now can't do without my coffee. What am I saying? The things that you do things to you. This is the power of habits. I enjoy coffee. I think there's nothing wrong with enjoying God's good creation. In fact, He gave it to us to enjoy. But I'm now at the place, and maybe you are too, where you can't do without your coffee in the morning. At least for me, I have trained my brain patterns and chemical urges to be satisfied by coffee. When I go out of town, maybe when you go out of town, I plan how I'm going to get my coffee fix. And some of us, I'm not going to own up to anything, when we go on holiday by car, we take our espresso machine and our coffee grinder with us. And so at least for me, I now have a whole mental and emotional and physical behavioral pattern around drinking coffee. The things that you do things to you. What you love shapes your habits, and your habits shape who you are. Your loves shape your habits, and your habits shape who you are. And I think that's what Jesus is getting at here, where He says, store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. And then get this, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Now, treasure here might mean money, but it also might mean time. I buy coffee every 2 weeks or so, and I also take the time to make a cup of coffee in the morning on my espresso machine, which takes a few minutes. And so my treasure, both in time and in money, reveals where my heart is. I love coffee, I admit it. Some people I know are really into buying clothes or buying shoes. Personally, I love buying books. But for all of us, how we spend our money reveals what we love, where our heart is at. Where you choose to invest your treasure of time and money reveals what your heart loves. Show me your schedule and your spending, and I will show you what your heart loves. And so that's the first point here, is where you choose to invest your treasure of time and money, that reveals what your heart loves. But the second point is very similar. Where you choose to invest your treasure of time and money determines what your heart loves. The other day I put a post on Facebook, and I don't use Facebook very often. And then over the next couple of days, I found myself thinking many times, I wonder what other people think about my post. Did they like it? Did they comment on it? Did they respond positively? Or have they ignored it? And as I was reflecting on my own thought processes, I started to realize, what was I looking for? What I was looking for is other people's approval and validation. And that started to preoccupy my mind a little bit. And then I went on Facebook and checked to see what other people thought of my post. But as I reflected on this whole process, it made me think, what would my self-worth be like if I repeated that exercise frequently? What it would be like is I would be training myself to care a great deal about what other people think. Repeated over time, my self-worth might depend far too much on the approval and validation of others. What am I saying? The things that you do things to you. Your loves shape your habits, repeated practices over time, and your habits shape who you are. Do I want to invest the treasure of my time on social media? Or fill in the blank, you choose what that thing is. Do I want to become the kind of person who depends on other people's approval on social media for my sense of self-worth? Heck no. Part of being mature is critically examining our habits, our repeated practices, how we spend our time. How we spend our time is not neutral, because the things that you do things to you, whether it's coffee or social media or whatever else. Jesus said, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Where you choose to invest your treasure, time and money, reveals what your heart loves. And where you choose to invest your treasure of time and money determines what your heart loves. The second point means this: your time and money are like power tools to change the direction of your heart. Where you choose to consistently invest your treasure of time and money, then your heart will follow. And where your heart goes, so goes your life. Hence, author and theologian Tim Keller says, people change not merely by changing their thinking, but by changing what they love most. If someone watched your life, what habits would they see? When did you last critically assess your habits? Have you recently done an audit of how you invest your treasure of time and money? Do those habits produce the kind of person you want to become? Do those habits produce the kind of person that God is calling you to be? The Christian life is about learning to love well, and that will be our subject for next time.